Hey friends, so final grades came in and I want to talk about them and talk about how I performed in every single class with a hearing disability. So if you are new here, my name is Shreya, and for vlogmas this year I am making a video every single day pertaining to hearing loss, and today we're going to be talking about school. If this series is something that you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, and hit my notification bell so you never miss a video. I was so stressed out this semester. There was a point in time where I literally thought I was not going to do well in every single one of my classes. So a little bit of a backstory. I have really high standards for myself. I've always had really high standards for myself. When I was applying to college, I applied to 21 colleges, which is not good. Like, that's too many, but I just am an overachiever, if you will. I just like to do the best that I can. I am a perfectionist in that regards, especially. So when I came to college, I was appointed my first year, and then I got an A- for the first time this time last year, which was actually a 94%, but my professor only gives out straight 4 points if you get a 95 or above, which is ridiculous. But anyway, so I lost my 4 point, but then I got 4 points the next semester, and then I took summer classes, got 4 point then, and then this semester happened and it completely kicked my ass. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. So I decided to take all of my hardest journalism classes in one semester, which was this past semester. I don't know why I did that, but I just decided to just take them all at once and get it over with. I do not recommend that, but it's all over now and I'll probably never have a semester as hard as the one that I just had. But with that being said, I did get my first B, which was horrible. And I know I sound super annoying, like, just so you guys know, like, these are all really good grades. Like, a B is a really good grade, you know, like a C is still passing. I just have super high standards for myself, and I'm a perfectionist, which is something that I'm working on, but I don't mean to come across like super annoying or anything like that, because I understand how annoying I sound when I say, oh my gosh, I got my first B. But I got my first B in a class called copy editing. It was the hardest class I've ever taken here at my school, and it's a class where you edit stories, you lay out news pages. There's a lot that you do in the class, and everything is about small, detailed oriented things, and you can lose points on the most ridiculous things, and it was so hard. So the B was a struggle to get. I'm so glad that I even got a B, because some people didn't even pass the class, which is horrible. But it was a really hard class, and I had to rely on my translator so much for that class, because you get to class and the professor just started with the note, then he kept on saying things and going, and it was a struggle, and I didn't get it all the first week, and I had to talk to him and ask him to give me the note, and he would constantly forget to do that. So I really had to rely on my transcriber and then get the notes from him later, and it was this whole big thing. But yeah, it was a really hard class, and I am one of the lucky ones. I did do well on a lot of the quizzes that he gave us. He would give us quizzes every single day in class, and I did really well on the editing quizzes, which they're low stakes quizzes, but they actually ended up accounting for a large part of our grade. You could do badly on a couple, but you couldn't do badly on a lot of them. But basically how I survived that class was my transcriber and also study groups, because he said at the beginning of the class that if you didn't form study groups, you weren't going to do well in the class. So I knew I had to do study groups, and it was really hard for me. I made a whole video about this a couple days ago if you want to go watch it, but I had to do that, and that was also a adjustment for me, because I don't do study groups because of my disability. I would rather just fly solo on that. So it taught me a lot. It forced me to go outside of my comfort zone a lot, and that was the 1B that I got. So the next class I took was my directing class, and that is an upper level theater class, and the main project of the class is to direct a scene from a play. So I really enjoyed doing that. I was scared to death because a lot of the kids in the class, like I said, it was upper level, have done this all their lives and have performed in theater all of their lives, but I didn't do theater until entering college, and I haven't even done a lot. Like, I don't have time to be in plays every single semester, so I didn't know anything about directing, and we didn't really learn about directing. We just got thrown into directing a scene scene, and we held auditions and did that, and that was a whole nother thing to work off of, because it's not where you get to have a transcriber in class, which I never really used for theater classes because that is just not something that I do because it's so fast paced. But it's having your own rehearsal with your actors, and that's completely a you thing by yourself, and it was so hard at first because it's like you're in charge. This is your rehearsal, which also I had a lot of insecurity issues coming into it because I really thought that I had no idea what I was doing, and I went into everything being like, oh my god, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then working with your actors, and then like being super aware of what they're doing and making directing choices. Oh my gosh, so hard. I got an A in the class, but it was hard. I think the best thing with that is just being open with your actors, because you need to tell them what you need from them, but also when you're the one in charge of doing something, it's a little bit different how you get to demand those necessities from them. So that was really interesting. I can make a whole video on that if you want me to. The next class I took was Mastering the Interview. It's a journalism class that just focuses solely on interviewing people. Now, this professor, I had her this time last year, and that's how I lost my 4-point to the 94. Well, I also got a 94% in this class this year, and I also was only an A-, which is ridiculous. Excuse my dog. He's being, I don't know what he's doing up there. Anyways, crazy class, because like I said, it focused just on interviewing. So we would interview people, then we would have to provide a transcript and like do a bunch of work with it. We didn't really have to write stories. We wrote one story for a PR interview that we conducted. It was just focusing solely on interviewing people and interviewing tactics and that sort of stuff, which was really interesting and hard. I am a journalism major, but it is hard when you are interviewing people, especially strangers, which you will have to be doing every single day, and you don't recognize their voice, and you don't know really how to respond to them if you can't hear them, and you don't want to ask them to repeat themselves a million times. So that was definitely a learning curve, learning how to interview strangers with a hearing loss. Definitely something that's very hard, that I wasn't really anticipating being that hard when I was first starting this class. And then providing a transcript, there is this service, it's called Trint, T-R-I-N-T. It's like $70 a month. It's ridiculous. But if you just provide like an email, you will have a free trial for a week, and then make sure that you cancel it so they don't charge your card. But I would use that service to transcribe everything. It was really good learning curve for me having that class, but I did really well on it. Like I said, I got a 94%, and it definitely taught me a lot. I used a transcriber for the actual class itself, not for the interviews, obviously, but it definitely made me think more about how to get services or make life easier for interviewing people with a hearing loss, and I have to look more into that. Next, I took video journalism reporting. So this class is really interesting. He would bring in a guest speaker every single week to talk about their job in the journalism industry, and I had a transcriber for that. But basically all this class was producing shows and putting on a show. So we would have packages and VO due. So a VO is like a 30-second clip where it's you talking over the video footage, and a package is like a full-on news story. So we would have to go out and like film these and do these things. Really cool reporter vibes and experience and things to put on your reel. Like that was our final project, was a reel. And then 2 people would have to produce next week's show. So we would get on Rundown Creator, which is like the actual software that produces yours, and input all of our like VO'd packages, write tags, like all of the thing, write the entire show. And then next week we would anchor in the studio at our school. Super cool, super major related. Like this is what I want to do, and it was really cool. So I got an A in the class. Thank God. I forgot to take a quiz in this class actually, so I had a 0 in the grade book, and for the longest time I had like a C- in the class, and then I continuously like got A's on all the assignments and brought it all the way up to an A, so I'm really proud of that. But yeah, it's more like major related. Things were hard, of course, especially like anchoring and stuff with a disability, but it really taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about things that I have to think about because I'm not an expert on how to conduct myself in this field. Then I took media law and ethics, which I also got an A in. Now this is the last requirement that I had to take for comm requirements, and it's about the law and applying your First Amendment rights to journalism. We have DratComm majors to all the comm things, basically applying Supreme Court cases and First Amendment rights to whatever you're doing. Super important. Transcriber, because it was a lecture-based class, and then we had to write a 20-page paper, which the one thing we had to do all semester, and I didn't write it until the day before it would due, so not good. But I wrote my paper on First Amendment rights in K-12 public schools and where your rights end, so super interesting. I feel like I am an expert in that now. But yeah, it's just a lecture-based class, so all the things that I talk about all the time here apply. Transcriber, front row, all of that stuff. And then the last class I took was theater participation. This class, you have to do a bunch of things. So basically, like, if you act in a show, like, that counts as one of your things that you have to do. I was props master for a show, and then I worked in a costume shop, so not a lot of human interaction. So I didn't really talk to anyone when I did those jobs when I was sewing costumes and all that stuff. So perfect for my disability, and I got an A in that class. That was my semester recap. I got like a 3.7, I think, which is the lowest I've ever done all this time I've been in college. Hopefully it's the lowest I'll ever do. I know I sound so annoying, but like I said, perfectionism. And then my overall GPA is still a 3.9, so really awesome stuff. Definitely a really hard semester. Like, really tried me in a lot of different things, because it wasn't just classes, it was keeping up with social stuff and my exec position in my sorority, and I'm a class officer, and it's like all these things that I'm trying to balance at once. Super hard, but super rewarding at getting the results at the end and knowing that all your hard work was worth it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.